FriYay! Who's in the house? Come on in. Let's do this. There's my girl, Jackie. Hello, Jackie. Good to see you. There's Cassie. Now you know the party's complete. Hi, Denise. And there's Diane. All my lovelies. Hi, Catherine. Good afternoon. There's Juanita. And Susan's here too. There's my girl Marguerite. Joanne. Good to see you. I love watching you all march in here. There's Rebecca. She's saying hello to the lovelies. I love it. And who do you think that is? That's my girl Jenny. And there's Beverly and Gwen. Hello, hello. Hi, Gemma. Kathy's here. And Marianne is in the house. So is Jennifer. Hello, Diane. I know where you are, Diane. I saw you today. Hi, Norma and Dawn. Good to see you. Who else is here? Here they come. Hi, Catherine. Heather, Heather, Heather. Hello. Just one Heather. I just decided that I would just call her out 3 times. So, you know. How is everyone? Jillian is here from the UK. Hi, Yolanda. Thank you. I look great. You like the hair? Cannot do it. Hi, Kathy. Hi, Lizzie. Wendy's here too. Suzanne, hello. I'm just going to sit here until the next one comes. Hi, Joanne. All the ladies in the house. Corliss is here too. So's Jane. Hello, Jane. My runner. She's my runner. Who else do we have? I see more. I swear I do. Oh, good, Diane. I see your message. Yay. I'm glad to hear that. Hi, Jill. Simone from Brazil is here. She's saying hello to all the lovelies. Are you excited about today? I love Q and A days because there's always so many good questions. And you know, I have been asked so many times about my thyroid and what have you. I wrote out a whole protocol of what I did and how I did it. And I also want you, it is dark, we're having a little storm outside, but it's not so bad. It's not so bad. So yes, it's dark. I've got all the lights on because it's dark in here. About 68 degrees right now in the middle of July. I'm okay with it. But what I want you to do, if you are a thyroid patient with either, you know, Hashimoto's or just even hypothyroid or whatever, if you have some kind of a thyroid deal going on, I'm going to want you to take notes, okay? Take notes. And the reason that I want you to take notes is because this is what worked for me. Now, am I going to claim that it works for anyone else? No, of course not. But I am going to say that I think it's critically important to have these notes and know what to do next. So, there you go. All right, so I'm going to get started with our Q and A, but you know, we have a question. How do you like that? Joanne, I'm glad you enjoyed yesterday's lesson. Right now, apparently, I cannot speak. Let's just kick it out here, huh? All right, here is our quote of the week. If you don't like how things are, change it. You are not a tree. That's Jim Rohn. And I say this, and this is not a comeuppance by any stretch of the imagination. It's an encouragement to take a look at your situation and say, do I have to deal with this? Do I have to put up with this? And yesterday on my Facebook page, you know, lover or liker AOC, you know, she stood up to somebody who called her a very demeaning name. And I said to her, I was just like, you go, girlfriend. Because I don't know about you, but in, you know, my age, in my world, in my lifetime, I put up with a lot when I was out in the working world from men. Sexual harassment, all kinds of demeaning things, and it's over, folks. It's over. I'm done with it. So amen to that. Pinkies up. We deserve to be treated like equals. We deserve to be not put down, and we deserve it whether we're congressmen or whether we're, you know, whoever we are. Just the fact that we're women, we are equal in the eyes of God. Amen? That's enough of that. I'm not going to get on to that. And I'm not political, you know, by any stretch of the imagination. I have my own thing. And I've also shared that Marla and I are kind of polar opposites on a lot of things, but we come together on a lot of things. And we are also greatly respectful, I should say, of each other. That's how love operates, you guys. That's how it is, you know? It doesn't matter who you are and what your political bent is. Are you a woman seeking after God with all of your heart, you know? And what does that look like? You tell me. That's up to you and God, you know? I'm not here to dictate anything. What I am here to say is that we will be known by our hearts. We will be known by our love. That's it. I mean, who said that, right? They will know we are Christians by our love. They'll know that we are God's own by our love. Our love will find us out. Can we be those people? Can we be that? Heather, oh my word. Heather said she worked in a shipyard. Need I say more? We have all been harassed by this garbage. All of us. Every single woman. I don't know of a single woman who hasn't had to be put up with because maybe you were a little assertive, suddenly you're a big B word. I don't like that. I don't like that. You know what I say to that? I say, oh no. And at this age, where I am in my life, I don't care. I will call it out. I will go up to whomever did that. I will put my finger in their face and say, you're out of here. You know, I vote no. Sorry. But that's just it. I feel like my voice, my folks here, my reach for whatever it is all about calling together women to create a community. And it's to help. My purpose is to help in any way that I can. And one of my biggest things is I want you to have a voice in your life. Call out the iniquity. Call out the stuff that's wrong. Call out the put downs. Call it out. Do not put up. You're worth more than that. You got that? You are worth more. We never have to put up from anyone. I don't care if it's a kid, a spouse, a relative, an in-law, a friend, somebody on Facebook. I don't care. Don't put up with it. You're worth more. And when you have a voice for your life, then people around you are going to know who and what you stand for, right? So, while I might go around and say a bunch of liberal stuff that people don't like, I'm okay with it. Because I love the liberal and the conservative alike. And I've been in both, I've swum in both pools. Let's just put it to you that way. You know, I have very definitive ideas and ideals. Don't you? But what does that mean? That means that's what you stand for. And what we are greater than is that stuff. We need to be greater than that stuff. If we live and die by our ideals and what we believe, and we're not willing to expand the borders of our heart and bring all in and be empathetic and loving and kind and generous, who are we? Who are we? We're sad little representations of the human race. We need to stand up and be beautiful women who speak the truth in love at all times. But speaking the truth in love never means putting up with it. If anybody ever called you an effing B, I want you to go right up to them and you tell them what for. Please, promise me this. Pinkies up. We need to be strong. We need to stand up for ourselves. Done with these idiots out there who decide that they're going to be, you know, taking us down. That ain't happening on my watch. No, ma'am. Speaking of strong, did I get on a soapbox or what? I'm going to. You know, that's what I'm going to get on a soap. I'm not going to get on a soapbox and stand for an ideal. I'm going to stand for womankind. That's what I'm going to do. And however that looks, however you want to interpret it, that's up to you. But what I'm going to tell you right now is that we are all worth having a voice in our own lives, and we're worth not having anyone, I don't care who they are, put us down. Not a soul. Bam! I swear I get myself all riled up. I'm gonna have to calm myself down and go take a bath after this. So this week we have a supplement of the week. I'm going to be talking about this when I'm talking about thyroiditis, Hashimoto's, hypothyroidism, Graves' disease, anything to do with the thyroid. And you know, years ago, Oprah said this, which I thought was so interesting, because I am going to be giving you the whole lowdown on the thyroid. And it's important, okay? This is critical stuff for you, because so many women are affected. Their thyroids are affected, they're not tested correctly, they're not getting enough information, so they go through years and years of feeling like crap and thinking it's all on them. Doctors wanting to give them antidepressants without properly testing. I get cranky about stuff like that because I've been mishandled too, and medicated and miss everything. We need to get correct information, and that starts with empowered patients. Right? Amen? Haha, you betcha. And you're going to be one empowered patient when I get done with you. Take notes today. Take notes. This stuff is bankable. You can take this to the bank. And I'm telling you right now, omega-3 X, this is my favorite. 2.0, this is my favorite. This is a dry omega-3 fatty acid, which keeps it from turning. It keeps it from growing rancid. And omega-3 fatty acids are absolutely critical for any kind of body function. And I'm going to tell you this too. Most men need this even worse. Than you need to be giving this to your husband. Better than Viagra. I'm just saying. Sorry. The other thing I'm going to say too is I'm going to talk about this and understand that you buy 3, you're going to get a 4th one for free, and put ships free in the promo window, because we've got a great deal on it. And great deals are how we roll. And when we get we buy certain supplements at certain times as we can in great big quantities, and then we pass the savings on to you. The more we can buy, the better our savings is. You get it? So that's why we're doing this. And I want you to be able to stock up and take advantage of this. It's a great deal. So, as you know, Friday is Q and A. That's today, guys. So get your questions in for next Friday. I won't answer them today. Even if they come in, I'm not going to answer it today, Answer it next Friday, but send them in to support@savingdinner.com, and in that subject line, question for Leanne on Friday, I'll answer it, okay? The other thing that you need to know is that today's the last day to get signed up for our Happy Mama workshop. Now, this is for homeschoolers, anybody who has kids at home for school. Even if it's a college student, I have people ask me about that, because college students are going to be, essentially doing distance learning. Most of them are anyway. So having your household in order is golden. And I'll tell you, as a homeschooler for 8 years and somebody who has gone through all of the tubes, this is game changing. And these are lessons learned, lessons that I applied, and things that made my homeschool workable and doable, as well as starting a business, having freelance writing on the side, and doing it all. I did it all at the same time. So let me just say, if you want that information, you're going to want to come. It's $47, but you get a swag bag that's worth way over $140, probably more like $200. We didn't add all the things in exactly. So go to savingdinner.com/mama, get yourself signed up, because tomorrow at 9 a.m. sharp Eastern, Marla and I ride again. Ba-doop, ba-doop. And we had the blast last time. So did you. You will leave feeling like you've got a workable plan. Promise. Promise. And you'll also get the recording. So if you can't even make it live, don't worry about it. You'll get the entire recording, and you can watch it at your leisure. It's going to be a great day. savingdinner.com/mama. Yay. Okay, let's get to those questions, because we got a few. Let's see. Okay, so here it is. You guys get ready. Here comes the Hashimoto's question. Come on, open, my friend. What did you do to put your thyroid Hashimoto's in remission? My numbers are getting close. What steps did you do to turn it around? Okay, so here's what we did. And I'm going to also talk. Let me grab something. Okay. Okay, so a couple of things. All right. Yeah, she's ready for it. This needs to go. All right, the first thing I did was, you know, you got to start from the top and work yourself all the way through. All I can say was I was a complete mess and everything was blowing up at the same time. I could hardly walk with the plantar fasciitis. My face was a rosacea bloom because I had these crusty patches all over my face. I mean, really bad. Wouldn't leave the house. I looked so awful. There wasn't enough makeup in the world to hide that because it was all patchy and risen. I mean, it was really gross. I had that and face as big as a moon and 3 huge nodules, which if you've ever had a biopsy in the nodules, you know it's not pretty. Big honking needle coming right at your neck. I swear it's the size of a turkey baster. Right at your neck 3 times. And they do that to make sure you don't have thyroid cancer. Well, I survived that. I didn't have thyroid cancer, thank God, but I had huge nodules. And it made it uncomfortable. I couldn't wear a turtleneck. And I'm still sensitive to my thyroid. I mean, I can feel it when I do this, and I don't like things up around my neck. But there's some people who have, if you have trouble swallowing, that'll tell you that maybe there's a little something going on. And those nodules will press on your thyroid and make it very tender and sore. Yeah, Marianne's had the biopsy. She knows. It is horrific. It is, and they do not prepare you. They don't numb you. It's just pain all the way around. And that needle goes in. Yeah, I mean, I thought it was going to go on the other side of my neck. It was that bad. So we got to start with what affects the thyroid. And we know that when you have Hashimoto's, you have antibodies that are attacking that thyroid. They are attacking the thyroid. And they shouldn't be, but you know, an autoimmune response is when your body attacks itself. And you know, we've seen this in all different autoimmune diseases, but in particular, we're talking about the thyroid, so we're going to talk about that. Now, what do we do with that? What happens here? So we understand and know that gluten and dairy, unfortunately, are two culprits that need to be basically backburnered for a while, at least or maybe even longer. But what we need to know is that is it's not going to necessarily show up in a food sensitivity panel, but it exacerbates antibodies. And when you've got antibodies attacking your thyroid, they measure them. And that's an antibody test and thyroid globulin test, okay? You have to ask for that. They usually don't do it. And when those thyroid antibodies go up and up and up, it's exhausting, you're tired, you're gaining weight easily. I gained 30 pounds in 3 months, 10 pounds a month, and my face was as big as a moon. I was up to 237, and I was a complete, I didn't even know what to do anymore. I could hardly sleep. Everything that I was doing was not working. And you know, my whole thing was, okay, so I know what it is to gain weight and I know what it is to lose it. And so I went to the gym, got myself a personal trainer and worked out as hard as I could, cut back on the calories. I did all these things. It made it worse. So let's put the brakes on the whole thing and talk about it. The first thing you need to do is get yourself a nice cleaned up diet. Now, in Dinner Answers, we have the autoimmune paleo diet. That's essentially what I did. Well, I took all the foods out that might be a causation for my thyroid. So I really believe with all of my heart that we need to at least take a 30-day break of just cleaning up the diet on very simple terms. Getting rid of nightshades, getting rid of nuts, getting rid of high lectin foods, which, believe it or not, is another question here. It's an anti-nutrient, by the way. They're anti-nutrients because they're designed to keep, you know, the bugs away and to keep animals from eating them. I mean, that's the plant's defense mechanism. That's why lectins are present, phytates and lectins, and what is the other thing that I'm thinking of? Oxalates as well. Those are all called anti-nutrients, and they're all there for a purpose, to keep animals and bugs away, interestingly. So here are the steps. The diet needs to be pretty rigid for at least 30 days so you can get a grip on getting your belly fixed. Because I will tell you right now, people with Hashimoto's or any kind of autoimmune disease have leaky guts. Most of us do, but those of us with autoimmune diseases understand that getting that leaky gut fixed is one of the biggest things you can do. Digestion is everything, and so is your diet. So keep the diet to an autoimmune paleo. We have them. If you go to savingdinner.com and sign up for our newsletter, you will get a sample diet of every single way that we do our menus every week, but the autoimmune paleo diet will be in there, and that's a good start for you. So start with that. Hydration was also important because hydration helps to move the toxins through. When you're having all these autoimmune issues and what have you, then yeah, that's got to be dealt with as well, right? So that's a big freaking deal. Hydration is everything. Fiber moves things through, and so it really helps a lot. That was a biggie. Another thing, and this is something that you will not read on most blogs, and nobody likes to talk about this because it's boring, but it's stress. And let me just tell you something. There's two kinds of stress. There's the stress that you go, oh, I'm so stressed out, there's so much to do, I'm overwhelmed. There's that stress. There's the stress of, being unhappy, feeling isolated, and, all of that. That's stressful. There's also the stress of what your body is going through just trying to deal with all of this stuff. So you're automatically under a bunch of stress. Just, instead of saying, oh, I'm not under stress, yes, you are. Can we just agree that yes, you are? So here's how you deal with stress. We've got some supplements for that. I'm going to go through all of that, but you also need to be doing things to counteract the stress. Meditation is just what you need. You need the meditation. Meditation helps. It brings you back to center. It calms down everything. And it just brings everything into control. Breath work and taking 8 breaths in, 8 to the count of 8, and breathing it out through your nose. And this also stimulates the vagus nerve, and it helps to calm. When we stimulate the vagus nerve, we also bring in the neurotransmitters. We've got serotonin and dopamine working on our behalf. And believe me, if you're in the place of having Hashimoto's, you need those guys on your team because it helps to calm. The other thing that you need to do is you need to take your exercise to a place of calm as well. Because what happened with me was I was doing too much, too hard, and I'd come home and I would have to make a decision. If I exercised that day, I was on the couch, and I could hardly do anything. So I would make a decision, exercise or work. It's hard for a working mama, I was a single mama with my own business, kind of had to work. So after a while, I had to just give all this up, and I couldn't do anything. I was just, got to work, got to put food on the table, got to pay tuition, got to, do the things that I needed to do, and it was insane. It was insane. So getting that stress under control is a daily practice. Prayer, a body clutter buddy, your journal, writing things out, breath work, listening to calming music, not putting yourself in a stress. It got to the point where it's just like, no, I'm not watching that stressful movie. I'd leave the movie with my heart palpitating. That's how much I was affected by all of this. And that's what you need to do, is bring calm into your life in any way that you can in order to bring in the stress control. Okay? The next thing is for the exercise thing that I was alluding to. Yoga, stretching, bar, gentle Pilates, gentle types of movement. Maybe some weights or some jumping on the rebounder. I really like that a lot, by the way. I think that's really great. Whatever it is that you need to do, you need to be moving on a daily basis to get things going. It might just be a slow walk around the block with your dog. I don't know. You have to move, and you need to move according to what you're capable of doing. I don't know where you are on the spectrum. I've met women who've just been absolutely incapacitated by Hashimoto's. I was this close, and that's when I just was like, oh, heck no, this is not happening. This is not happening. And this is what the doctors will warn you, by the way. You know, I really don't appreciate doctors who say there's nothing that they can do for you, and that is complete nonsense. Well, maybe they can't do anything for you, but you can do for your own self, and that's what we're talking about. Sorry, phone. The next thing was getting my sleep under control. I would stay up till, 11, 12 o'clock at night, and I started to go to bed at, get ready for bed at 9:30. I had a whole sleep routine. Hot, like a hottish, warmish bath, not too hot, not too cold, just right. It was in the Goldilocks zone. And Epsom salts, 4 cups of Epsom salts with some lavender just to relax. And I would put on meditative music. I'd even light a candle sometimes and just like chill. 20 minutes in the tub, get out, nice lotion, and go to bed. Dark room, cool room with white noise going. And I would sleep at least 8 hours. This is when your body heals, by the way. So if you're not doing the sleep, you're not getting the rest you need, and you're not getting the rest you need, you're not going to get the restoration and the healing that your body needs. You're giving your body something to work with. The next thing was my digestion, and I just alluded to leaky gut. Well, leaky gut is something that happens when the little junctures in your intestine start to open up. And what happens then is your food starts to escape, and your body sees that as an invader because it's out of place. Food should only be in your digestive tract, period. It shouldn't be escaping into your body. And so your antibodies, again, your immune system goes on overload trying to deal with that and then attacking your thyroid at the same time. So we're going to put an end to that. Okay, so the biggest thing that you can do with that is to take L-glutamine. It helps with cravings as well because your taste kind of goes kind of crazy. You want to eat a lot of sugar, at least I did when I was going through this because I wanted to comfort myself. So I fell back to old food addictions, and that's not going to help you at all. You want lots of bone broth in your life. You want collagen. You want probiotics, and you want prebiotics. Prebiotics are things like apple cider vinegar and having, fiber, just our regular fiber mender. And having a good amount of fiber in your body, that helps to carry out all those toxins, like I said. And it also carries out metabolic clutter. So as your body's cleaning up itself, you're digesting it. It's going through your body, believe it or not. And that's one of the most helpful things about having a lot of fiber. So you also want to make sure that you are taking a probiotic every single night because your gut flora gets off. When you've got a leaky gut, you've got an unbalanced gut. So we got to help our bodies out by taking a probiotic, and I do it at night so our bodies have something to work with because that's when the healing happens. So that's a really important thing. The other thing are the supplements. Now, I take a mountain of supplements. Here they are. And it's everything pretty much that we carry. And the thing I would also mention is that your leptin gets broken when you're losing weight. It also gets broken when you have thyroid disease, unfortunately. So take Leptofix first thing in the morning. Also, I take SAMe first thing in the morning. 2 reasons why. It helps with joints, it helps with the mood, and it also helps with the leptin. And those are 2 things. Somebody was asking me earlier, and it was part of the questions here. Why don't you mentioned that you take your thyroid first thing in the morning, then you go back to bed. Why don't you take your leptin, Leptofix, and your what was the other one that I take? SAMe. And it's just simply because I'm not in the kitchen making my coffee. That's where that stuff is. It's in that drawer, and I grab my Leptofix, and I just do it. That's just my habit. Can you take them all 3 at one time? Sure you can. So there's that. So back to the whole the other thing. B-complex works to buffer all the stresses that your body is going. There it is again, every day, right, at this time. So that works on that. The other thing is the D and the CalMags also work together to help your immune system. Those 2 things work really intrinsically together. Also, CoQ10, believe it or not. And there was a study that shows that CoQ10 helps to mitigate the damage to the thyroid gland. So, this is the core 4 that I'm telling you about. We have the core 4. You should be taking that on a daily basis because all of those things together are going to mitigate the damage that's happening to your thyroid right now. The other thing is selenium. Now, we don't sell selenium. We also don't sell zinc, but those two minerals, absolutely 100% you need to have. Put those on your list. The Lord approves of your videos. Thank you, God. The other thing is InflaCrusher. We have this, it's a pharmaceutical grade curcumin, and it helps to bring down the inflammation that's caused by these antibody attacks. So strong suggestion that that's something that's on your list, that you have InflaCrusher. All of these things are in our carts. So the things that you can get that are that we have are the B complex, the Wise Women's B complex, vitamin D, CoQ10, and CalMag. Those are the Wise Women's. And if you buy all of them at one time, you get a discount. So that's a deal. Selenium, I would get that. Thorn makes a good one. Get Thorn or Designs for Health. You can find that on Amazon. I would get a zinc. Again, same company. Thorn would be good, or Designs for Health, zinc. InflaCrusher, you can find in our cart. You can also find L-glutamine. Our proactive probiotic is thebomb.com. I would not be without that one. And let's see, what else? Oh, collagen, for heaven's sakes. Collagen makes everything work, and it helps your thyroid function as well. And it makes your body feel so much different. And I'm going to tell you something. I am a big believer in taking my supplements. I mean, I'm showing you my supplements. I take them every single day. Big believer. The thing, though, I'm going to say is that they're not miracle pills. If you're not also taking into consideration your diet, your hydration, and you're just taking pills and expecting a miracle and going to McDonald's and staying up till 2 o'clock in the morning, I can't help you. Those supplements aren't going to do anything. They are a supplement and help to ratchet up your results. That's what they do. And they also fill in the blank, and fill in the spaces that you're not getting necessarily with your diet. So that's what I love about supplements. I am a big believer. I take them every single day, but I'm also not going to tell you that they're miracle pills. They're not. They are an addition and supplemental to an already healthy diet. So take that one. So there you go. With all, and the omega-3 fatty acids, of course. Take advantage of our deal. Buy 3, and we'll throw the 4th one in your cart. And don't forget, ships free is your code, and these are the cups that we're sending out. Aren't they cute? Mindful Mugs Pinkies Up cup for people who spend $200 in our store, and you will get free shipping, of course, as well. The other thing would be the hot milk mix, simply because electrolytes are off usually, and that's something that you need to be bringing in, and it helps you to feel better. It'll make you feel good. Now, medically, I changed my thyroid medication. Okay, I went from Armor to WP Thyroid. Big time difference. I felt better, and there's, my doctor has a lot of reasons why he liked this better. He took me off of Armor and said, let's do this instead. I felt the difference. They're both bioidentical thyroid medications, a lot different than Synthroid. Synthroid's is synthetic, and some people do better with the synthetic. Some people do better with a bioidentical. I am one of the ones who does better with a bioidentical. Big time difference. The other thing that I did was, for a short period of time, is LDN. That's low dose naltrexone. Now, low dose naltrexone is a medication, and this is an off-brand an off-brand use for a medication, so you have to find a doctor who will work with you. And this works to bring down the antibodies. It brings it down. And those antibodies come down with this low dose naltrexone. Now, I did it, the way that I did it was with a cream. I had the doctor, do the cream, and I put it every night right here on the thin skin of my forearms. And it helps you to sleep, which was a plus for me at the time. And you have to get it from the doctor too. Believe me, you have to go to the doctor with all of your ducks in a row. I copied off research study after research study. Then I took my little highlighter pen, and I went through and I highlighted it for the doctor so that they could see. So when my doctor used to walk in, this is when I was in Charlotte, walk in and he'd see me with my little papers and he'd go, okay, here we go, Leanne. And I was like, hey, you love me for this, right? You know? But, you know, this was a doctor I didn't fire. This was a doctor that I went to after I fired I've fired several doctors, I'm happy to report, because I will not put up with anything, pinkies up, and including doctors who think that MD stands for medical deity. And no, ma'am. No, 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 no. I want somebody who's going to work for me, not against me, and somebody who understands that I'm a team member, that I'm not just somebody's, you know, just little germ hanging around in a petri dish. I need to be treated as a peer. You know, I understand what's going on here. I understand how the body works. I studied this stuff. Here's the research that maybe you haven't seen, sir. Are you interested in looking at this? Are you willing to hear my case? That's what I did, and I left the doctor I was working with. He said, he wasn't a doctor, he's a PA, but he said, I've never heard of this. And I said, I know, of course you haven't, but I have, and I've studied it, and here are the research papers. I had 6 of them, all stapled together, all ready to go, and I got what I wanted. I left with a prescription for LDN. Now, I didn't know how much to give me. He did, though, and he understood, and it worked. It was great. I took my thyroid where I was, and I took in the thousands. I was like 3,000, 4,000, I can't even remember, and it brought it all the way back down into the hundreds. That's when I discontinued, and then I just did the rest on my own. It's just a help. It's not necessary. It'll take longer without, but this is exactly what I did. It was sort of like, you know, when my skin was all broken out with rosacea, you know, of course I fixed it from the inside out, but I also went and saw a dermatologist and had intense pulse light, IPL, to help the healing go a little bit faster, simply because I had a speaking gig and I wasn't about to go out on stage with my face on fire like that. But those are the steps that I took. That's the medication I did. Those are all the supplements that I did. And what else can I tell you? That's it, point by single point. So be an advocate for yourself. Take each one of these steps seriously, and happy healing, because I believe that when we become our own advocates and we advocate for ourselves, not just in our doctor's office, but in our grocery stores, in our kitchens, and in our lifestyles, then we're going to get the results that we want. Okay? There you go. That was long, sorry. But you know, that is worth its weight in gold for anybody who's going through this and thinking that it's hopeless. That's what I was told. It was completely hopeless, and I just didn't believe it. I made my journey happen on its own with all of this, and you know, and thank God, great doctor too. I had Dr. Alan Christensen. He's no longer practicing with patients, but his clinic still is. It's integrative health, I believe is the name of it, and it's in Scottsdale, Arizona. They do telemedicine. So their whole staff is trained by Alan Christensen. So Alan and I are dear friends. I love him to death, and all of his staff is just absolutely incredible. So if that's something you want to do, that's their specialty. All right, so here's Cheryl, and she says, I'm really sorry to sound whiny or wimpy, but I've tried several different ways to drink the cucumber lime flavored hot milk mix, and I just have to force myself to drinking it. I keep reminding myself that it's good for me, but I don't know why. We'll talk about that. And how expensive it was. I don't want to waste it. Any ideas or recommendations? Are you kidding me? Of course I've got recommendations. Also, can you please explain the benefits? Yes. All right. She says, thank you so much for your patience with my questions and for your gracious dedication to each one and every one of us, Cheryl. Well, Cheryl, big hugs to you. Thank you for your sweet question. So understand, hot milk mix basically has a mixture of exogenous ketones, which means they're ketones that your body naturally produces, only we get them in an extra way that's in your glass, right? And as a matter of fact, I never put mine in, so I gotta put my little hot milk mix in. So it has exogenous ketones, it has a little MCT oil on it, which helps to bring the whole thing up, and it is full of electrolytes. Now, what we know about electrolytes is that it isn't just for athletes anymore. What we're learning and studying about electrolytes is it helps to keep a balance inside of us with all of our hydration. Helps to take our hydration to the next level. And when we add in the fiber, you know, it's fantastic. All these things work together for our own good. And yes, we love the cucumber lime. We also love the new orangesicle flavor. And I've had people say, no, it doesn't taste like an orangesicle. It tastes like lemon to me. Does that mean mine's wrong, you know, bad or something? No, it just means that's your taste. You know, that's your taste. And I also add a scoop of vitamin C powder into my hot melt mix. It's just another way to get the vitamin C in because I take 2 grams a day. That's extraordinarily a lot. It's a lot, but I worked myself up into that. Otherwise, I would be having massive diarrhea. Seriously. And you don't want that, right? So anyway, but the whole thing is it all works together for hydration, for keeping you in ketosis, and the MCT oil puts the whole thing on it. And I'm telling you, it is fantastic. It is so good for you, and it keeps everything balanced. Now, how do we deal with the flavor? Well, here's what you can do. You can take it and dilute it down until you get it to the place where the flavor is, you know, just not a big deal. You can find these little packets called real lemon, real lime, or whatever, and it looks like a little, you know, I don't know, some business, I don't know what they, you know, the little Sweet and Low or something like that. You take a packet and put it in, and it gives a different flavor. So you could do that. You can squeeze some orange in it. You can squeeze some lime in it. You can squeeze some lemon. I prefer lemon or lime simply because there's no additional calories or sugar in there, but you can do that. The other thing that I've done, which I really love, is that I will put it on mineral water, and it tastes like a fizzy drink, and it's quite delicious. So try a couple of those things. Somebody was asking me about what brand of vitamin C. I really don't know. Marla bought it for me. It's just some little vat of vitamin C. I'm sure she got it on Amazon. And it's just the powder, ascorbic acid. So you can get that. But anyway, here's the thing. This is what hydration is all about, because just regular water is only going to be, you know, taking care of those kidneys. So we want hydration on a cellular level. And that's what fiber helps to do in our guts, which also helps to heal our guts, by the way. And that's why we have our fiber mender. The second thing is taking an electrolyte mix and drinking that every single day. I drink it every day from 1 o'clock until it's tea time, and then I go into tea time. If there's a little bit of something left at the bottom of my glass, and there usually is, I will add a splash of mineral water and drink it up that way, because I do like that. I think it's really quite delicious. But I also drink mineral water every day, San Pellegrino in the glass. I buy a case of it at a time, and I pretty much go through a case a week. So I love that. I think it's really refreshing. And Marla just got me a soda stream thing, one of those soda streams, so we've been enjoying that too. She and Robert do this whole thing with crushed ice and some key lime juice and all of that. So that's nice. But I also have these mineral drops that I was sent, somebody sent them to me, that supposedly has the same pH as the ocean. So I'm gonna take a look at that, and maybe I'll make my own. We shall see. Anyway, that's what it is with the hot melt mix. I encourage you to play with it until you get a flavor that you like. And I encourage you, anybody who has hot melt mix, make it a daily thing. That hot melt mix is everything. It will help you to feel good, and it feeds your cells on a cellular level. So make sure you get that in. Here's from Susan. Susan wants to know about lectins, which I think is great. So I just alluded to this a little bit, that lectins, phytates, and oxalates are all these things called, and gluten, for example, they're all called anti-nutrients. The reason they're called anti-nutrients is because they oftentimes do more damage than they help you out. So, for example, while you can say whole wheat is so good for you because of the B vitamins and the fiber and this, that, and the other thing, the other side of the coin is the anti-nutrient with the gluten, right? Same with lectins, and lectins are mostly found in grains, mostly found in beans, all legumes, and can be found also in dairy and you know, peanuts, of course, peanuts and legume. So what I have noticed is that people oftentimes who have food sensitivities, the top food sensitivities are gluten, peanut, and dairy, which are all high in lectins. So is it a lectin sensitivity, or is it an actual for real food sensitivity? Who knows? But that's where lectins are found. Now, how do we get rid of lectins? Because there's lectins, and nightshades are big time in lectins too. So there's a Dr. Gundry, I believe it is, who wrote this big book on lectins and what have you. And I haven't, honestly, I have not looked at it. I've read a couple of his blog posts and I went, you know, because at some point we have to just say, you know, are we just going to go straight carnivore? Jennifer, tomatoes are nightshades. So that's a nightshade vegetable, or fruit, I should say. So what do we do with that? You know, what do we do with lectin-rich foods? Well, there's some we can avoid, but there's some that we can't, or there's some that we don't want to avoid. First of all, if you have a food sensitivity panel and you've done this whole thing, my strong suggestion is that you give yourself a break and not do any. Just stay away. Keep a food journal and record what your reactions are when you do take in something that's a lectin-rich food or a phytate, you know, any kind of a food like that. And what we need to do is just see how you do without it, and then see how you do by adding one at a time. So you wouldn't go and say, I'm just gonna have this lentil soup and a peanut butter sandwich, a big glass of milk, and some tomatoes. You know, that's just like a lectin overload. Don't do that. Do it one food at a time. Kind of how you do, you know, how you introduce baby food to babies. You do it one food at a time, okay? Wanda's asking, what are the nightshades? Eggplant, potatoes, tomatoes are, you know, essentially the nightshades. There's probably a couple of others that I'm not thinking off the top of my head. But nightshades can have a certain component in there that causes a sensitivity and a reaction to some people. Not everybody, but some. And that's why we always need to, you know, kind of take them out and see how we do with them. Because my strong suggestion is that everybody do their own food sensitivity test. And if you go to Groupon, you can find a food sensitivity test for, you know, like $30. I've seen them. Or you go to Amazon, they're going to be a little bit more. I believe, and peppers, that's right. Bell peppers are, and any kind of pepper actually, are a nightshade. So people ask me all the time, which test is the best test? I'm going to tell you, I think they're all about the same, and I think they probably all go to the same lab. So just whatever one you can find for a good price, but do it. And then when you do it, you stab your finger to get the blood. It's a blood card, you know, it's like little spots on the card. Do it on the side, not on the tip of your finger. That's where all the nerve endings are and it hurts. But if you do it on the side, we have hardly any nerve endings there and it won't hurt as bad, and you'll still get in a lot of, you know, get a lot of blood. And if you're having a hard time getting a lot of blood out, that means you're dehydrated. So drink up, buttercup. The other thing that you have to be aware of is that lectins, when in their normal thing, are sticky. They're sticky like proteins, and they cling to the side of your intestinal tract. What does that mean? That means that your nutrient absorption is going to be hindered, period. And that's important because your nutrients are absorbed in the small intestine, in the intestinal tract. That's why leaky gut is such an issue. That's why lectins and phytates and oxalates can all be an issue, especially lectins, because they just go and stick to the side of your gut. So strong suggestion, if you say, but I love bean soup, but I love having all this, you know, all these lectins in my life, then you're going to want to soak the beans, you're going to want to cook the food, whatever it is, and you're going to want to also sprout them, and this will help to take the sensitivity way down. It will help to mitigate the damage of these particular anti-nutrients, and it will help a lot to take them out. So the biggest thing is that you know, it will alter your gut flora as well. So taking a probiotic at night is going to be really helpful. It's also, so get this, It's also associated with leptin resistance, and leptin resistance is also associated with thyroid problems. All of these things kind of goes through, full circle. So what can you do about this? Take Leptofix. Take Leptofix every single day in the morning on an empty stomach. I love this supplement. It really works. It's got the research to back it up. Also, if you have IBS, Crohn's disease, fibromyalgia, Hashimoto's, chronic fatigue, any kind of arthritis or gout, then you need to be particularly aware that these lectins and phytates and oxalates can cause real problems with your gut, real problems. Now, for my IBS gals, I always recommend my IBS or my Crohn's gals, because I've got a few that I coach, I always tell them the same thing. Don't eat salads. Stay away from salads. If they bother you, stay away. And eat cooked vegetables in bone broth. I mean, you get all the nutrients. Yes, the same thing, Susan, in canned beans. Definitely. So you must cook, we really need to get back to cooking from scratch. Sorry to say, I just read this big article on how gross restaurant foods are. And I've seen it for myself with every single restaurant that I've ever been in, high end, low end, whatever, in between. They don't use good oils, and those bad oils are associated with incredible inflammation, which leads to high blood pressure, which leads to high insulin, which leads to, it's inflammation on steroids. So let's cook at home. And if you look at a can of beans, take a look at those can of beans. Look how much salt is in there. And it's not good salt either. It's not the pink salt that we recommend with all those minerals. So cook your own. It's cheaper that way. It's so easy. There's no reason not to do that. And especially if you are insistent on eating these beans, then do sprout them if you can. And I've done that with split peas. I've done it with lentils. I've done it with all of them. I've sprouted them. I've done all of that. And that's only if I really want to go there, because it's a lot of extra work, but it's worth it, so you're not going to get the stomach upset. So keep that in mind. This is how we get rid of this stuff, because honestly, it really is uncomfortable. All right, let's see. This is from Margot, and she says, I'm still becoming familiar with your supplements. My husband complains of joint pain and minor muscle pain in his legs and frequently takes Advil. I remember you mentioned a supplement in your store that was a fantastic pain reliever. Yes. Can you refresh my memory? Thanks for being the bomb.com. All right, so here's what I know. First of all, InflaCrusher. I think everybody should have InflaCrusher in their cabinet, using that instead of using Advil or any of it, any of those NSAIDs, any of them. Because when you use an NSAID, first of all, 35,000 people a year die of the liver poisoning that it gives them, because it damages your liver. Second of all, if you're in constant chronic pain and you're taking it all of the time, not only are you damaging your liver and your kidneys, but you're also causing extraordinary leaky gut. It just like goes, just opens those little walls up and just creates a real massive problem. So my suggestion is to reach for the InflaCrusher first, because it puts out fires. And it does work. I would suggest that. I would also suggest for your husband that he would do the CalMag and vitamin D, and those are our Wise Women supplements. Those two work well together, and it can help with restless leg syndrome. It can help with muscle cramps and all of that. And listen, think about this. If you're having muscle cramps, remember that your heart is your biggest muscle. I would also take the CoQ10. As a matter of fact, you know what I would do? I would have him on the Core 4. Yes, they're Wise Women supplements. They're Wise Women supplements for wise women, and they're Wise Women supplements for our spouses as well. You can give them to your spouse. I would double him down though on definitely on the vitamin, on the CalMax, and especially maybe do one in the morning when he's breaking his fast, and then I do another one at night to help him sleep and to help his muscles calm down. It's also going to benefit his heart. Same with that CoQ10. This is from Dina. She says, hello, Leanne. I have been replaying your sessions on YouTube. First time listening on my way to work. Second time to take notes. In one of your sessions, you mentioned a couple of weeks ago your thyroid medication first thing in the morning and then taking Leptofix and SAMe a little later, but still on an empty stomach. Is there a reason why you don't take all three together? I'd explained that a little bit earlier. It's just how my habit is. My thyroid medication is in my bathroom. I have a habit of taking it out of my cupboard, putting it on my sink just before I go to bed. So when I wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning, usually every morning at 5 o'clock, 4:30 or whatever, I stumble to the bathroom, and then when I come out, I take my thyroid medication, I put it back in the cupboard. So that when I wake up and I get into the bathroom to wash my face and get ready, for the day, I see that my thyroid medication is not on the kitchen or on the sink, and I know I took it because otherwise I'm in a stupor. I just go through the motions. I've done this since the 90s when I first started taking thyroid medication. So that's why I have a habit that works. So that's how I do it. And I could put all three of those in there, I suppose, but I like the way I do it. And then when I'm doing my coffee, I have a little drawer where I have my SAMe, the little sleeve of the the blister pack. It's just sitting there, right there on a cutting board, and right next to it is the bottle of Leptofix. So I pull those out, make the coffee, do the whole thing, my little song and dance. It just makes sense for me. So there's no reason why you can't do them all at one time, but that's the reason that I do mine. And it says also the hot milk mix directions say 1 scoop to 12 to 14 ounces of water. My container is 22 ounces. Should I add more than 1 scoop with that much water? You can. It will not hurt you. Or you can just have it completely watered down. But be careful because you don't want to have way too much in there, and you also want to have it taste good, right? So just make it so that it tastes good. Do it to your taste. There you go. And she says, thank you so much for everything you do to share your wealth of knowledge and support for all of us on our path to wellness. And you are so welcome, lovely Dina. This is from Jill. Tell us about the vitamin C powder you frequently mention. Dosage, brand, benefits, etc. Well, the benefits are legendary. The benefits are legendary because the benefits all take you to the place of your immunity, right? And I don't know the name of it's a container. I'm gonna say Vita something, Vita Cost maybe. And I'm not usually big on the cheapy brands. But I think for the vitamin C powder, I think it's fairly clean. Yeah, I hope so. I just use it. I use it. I put it, like I said, I put it in with my hot milk mix. I also take 1 gram a day I take 1 gram a day in powder form, and I take 1 gram a day in my supplement form. So that's 2 grams every day. That's a lot of vitamin C. Yes, way past what the recommendation is. But if you go look at the Linus Pauling Institute on and read the studies about vitamin C, and you might be a believer too. The benefits are that it helps your immune system, and it is. This is highly recommend. Your friend swears by Vitacost. I don't not swear by Vitacost. I don't know their particular. I don't know who makes them. I don't know where they're made. That's my biggest bugaboo. I know that, that's why we use the small manufacturer that we use, because it's all made in the US. Everything is certified. I don't see any certifications on this particular thing, but I'm going to take it anyway. So there you go. Okay. Alrighty, and there you go. That is it. That's all I have. There's a few more questions that came in, but we're going to save them to next week. We're past our time. It's 2 o'clock. Look for non-GMO. Look for. There's a lot of things that you need to be looking for. You need to be looking for making sure that they're made here in the United States. I think that's one of the most important things. Raw ingredients come from all over the world, you guys. All over the world. But the most important thing is that they're tested, that they're made sure that the efficacy is there, and that they're in a clean, FDA certified manufacturer, and ours is. And I think they should start putting that on their labels. I'm going to tell them to go start putting it on their labels, because I grilled them. Of course, you know, when all of this was happening, I was about to go out and tour their facility, and then we got hit with COVID. So anyway, I just that's basically what I do. But what I would like to do is I'd like to have all of this available on our shop. I'd like to have all the selenium, the vitamin C, the zinc, because I take those on a daily basis and I think they're important. Just haven't gotten there yet. You know, we also have a vitamin, a multivitamin that's coming that I actually have. It's in the shop. I just haven't written out the whole page, because I've had people who say, look, I just want a multivitamin. I don't want, you know, all the other ones. Well, I like all the other ones, but some people want a multi. We've got it. We'll have it coming out, and it's going to be a good price. So just letting you know, it's on its way. Okay, that's all I have for you today. I appreciate you so much, and I appreciate how that you share this, how you care, and how you are always showing up. You know, showing up is half the battle, isn't it? But our life requires that. It requires us showing up, because that's how we get what we want out of life. Remember, what you think about expands. So focus on the yummy, juicy, vibrant stuff that you want in your life, not all the other junk. We don't need that. And don't forget, too, you have a voice. Stand up for yourself. Always. Promise me. Forever. Peace be with you. I appreciate you all. I'll see you tomorrow. Oh, no, I won't. I will not see you tomorrow. I'm not going to be there. I'm going to be on the Happy Mama workshop. So if you're there, I can't wait till tomorrow. Otherwise, I will see you on Sunday. And if you're interested in the Happy Mama workshop, today is the last day. Go get signed up. SavvyDinner.com/mama. There you go. Peace.